It's been 2 years since the tragic death of music pioneer and young legend Jamal Edwards, who was instrumental in the careers of so many people we know and love, of household names such as Ed Sheeran and Jessie J.
And one of Jamal's biggest mantras was the idea of self-belief, and continuing his legacy is his mum, Loose Woman star Brenda, who we all know and love, and also sister Tanisha, who we've got to know as well. And they set up a trust in his name to create opportunities for underrepresented young people.
Brenda recently visited students at her son's old school to learn why support and safe spaces are needed now more than ever.
Well, Brenda and Tanisha, as you can see, join us now. It's always lovely to talk to you. It's always sad that this is one of the reasons why we get to talk to you both. First of all, how do you feel? Because it's 2 years must feel like a strange journey that you've been on for that 2 years. I say this because somebody said to me the other day, having just lost my husband, the second year is the hardest. And I thought, second year? I was sort of hoping things would get better in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. I know that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And do you identify with that a lot of people will be thinking, that's done now in your life? But for you, it's still a minute-by-minute daily challenge.
Absolutely, and I just want to say, you know, it's so good to see you back here. You're such an inspiration to me, watching you as well. And, you know, I know how it feels and what you're going through and how hard it is. And it is, the second year seemed to have been even harder than the first year. And the first year is still very, very vivid. It's like yesterday, every single day.
And it's a blur, probably, in some ways.
It's not a blur for me, unfortunately.
Isn't it?
It's
no.
very, it's not a blur, but it's nice that it's at the forefront, because that's really driving myself and Tanisha to just carry on doing what we're doing.
And turn things into positive.
Tanisha, can I ask you about that? You know, I've always lost people. I lost a stepsister who was in her 20s. And, you know, one of the things that we don't want is it to be just purely about in grief saying they are no more, but in thankfulness remembering that they were. And that their story just can't be about that person's death, but about the joy of them being alive.
Yeah.
And what I found so inspiring about you as a family is that vision, that determination to tell us the story of Jamal and empower people.
Yeah.
Help me with how that's helped you with grief and what we can learn from it.
I feel like it's been like the worst time of my life, but I feel very, I don't know if blessed is the word, that he's built such a legacy that I can kind of put all my time and energy into that. Because I know some people, they lose someone and they're like, what do I do now? But for me, it's kind of like, I know what I want to do and I want to kind of see it through and just want to make him proud. We just want to make him proud, so...
And we celebrate his life. It's, you know, every year on the anniversary, we celebrate his life. We celebrated his life last week, and we had some amazing people and family and friends in the room celebrating with us.
Looking at this programme, I have to say, I'm not ashamed to say, I love it so much because it is all about empowerment, self-belief, the self-belief launchpad, the self-belief sanctuary, the self-belief community, the idea that nobody else gets to write your story. You can grab back the pen and you can write the chapters yourself.
Exactly. I mean, Jamal, he wrote a book called Self-Belief, The Vision. This is his #1 bestseller that he wrote, and that has been at the head of what we're doing. And self-belief was the main important thing for Jamal. So, you know, as you said, there's 3 initiatives that we have, and young people was always at the focus. Young people in homelessness, underrepresented young people. So the Self-Belief Launchpad, Jamal, unfortunately, he was 31 when he passed. So we are creating 31 work placements for underrepresented young people from the care system who are just left on their own at the age of 18. Where do they go to? So we're creating a launch pad of job placements with companies and UK industries that Jamal loved and worked with. And then we have the Self-Belief Sanctuary, which will be 5 of those 31 young people will be housed in a sanctuary which we've already got, thanks to some lovely donations from people. We've managed to secure that first house, and they will be housed in there for a year, as well as on the Self-Belief Launchpad. And then, yes, the third, which we're fundraising for, is to develop a community hub to bring young and old together, because You know, I might be older, and Tanisha's younger, but I'm always learning from young people, and I think it's really good to get the community spirit, try and get the community spirit back up.
That's the dream of the generational mix, isn't it? That we all want. And it's so brilliantly tangible what you're doing for doing good. And the idea of self-belief, I'm very interested in how you both define Jamal's idea of self-belief, because that's one of those phrases, isn't it, which some people sort of scoff at, like it's a very American thing. You've got to believe in yourself, as though it's a sort of, I don't know, a cosmetic thing. It's an Instagram thing. Right. But you define it as something really essential that brings practical change. That's how do you see, and how did he define it for those people that haven't read the book?
Well, I feel like Jamal's whole legacy was built on self-belief, because at the time, YouTube platforms and media, it wasn't really a thing back then. He was the first one, and it
to
came
put
with
himself out there, not waiting for permission from a record company or somebody else, just getting out there.
Literally, I feel like he didn't listen to the outside noise of people telling him you can't do that, or that won't succeed, or anything of the sort. And he believed in himself, and he believed in his vision.
And the thing that he always said is, it's not impossible, it's I'm possible.
Right.
So, you know, you've got to
say that again.
It's not impossible, it's I'm
possible.
Yeah.
That's very interesting, because that confidence creates change in whatever you're doing, whether it's music, whether it gives it a confidence to take on the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. But people need to be not scared to fail as well.
Yeah.
You can't be frightened to fail, because that can eat you up a lot. So, you know, he might have had some knockbacks, and he might have been told no, as his sister said, but that doesn't stop you, and that doesn't deter you. And, you know, like I said, it's very inspiring watching what he's done, what he's developed, and his legacy. And, you know, I learn every day from my children.
It's often said it's not how long a life is, but the impact that human has had. And, you know, some of the biggest artists in the world, I mean, Ed Sheeran, amongst others, talk with such love and, above all else, respect of what Jamal meant to them. I wonder, as you see young people come and hear this story and go away into the world feeling empowered, but empowered that they have the rights and the gift and the capacity to go in the world fully formed, I wonder what that means to you, what that does to you, and, above all else, frankly, how proud of Jamal you are, and how proud of you both you would have been.
I'm so proud of both of my children. They're just, you know, they're amazing. And like I said, the self-belief that Jamal had, and the courage that he had to just face anything, regardless, never mind how... And it was just his selflessness as well. He would speak to anybody. It didn't in the same way. You know, he'd be there, and he would always... Our dustbin men that come and take our rubbish out every week, he'd make sure, you're right, boss, you're right, boss, and he'll have a full conversation with, what can I help you with? Do you need any help with anything? And then, obviously, you know, of course, he was part of the Prince's Trust and met the King and royalty, and he would be exactly the same way. And that's what you've always got to remember, is to treat everybody as you'd like to be treated.
And it's a message for young, definitely, because of the vulnerability there, but it's a message for older people too.
Absolutely.
We all need to have that approach, don't we? We all need to have that belief. There's lots of people who are elderly who have no self-belief that they can still do and achieve. It's a brilliant legacy that you are driving forward.
Thank you. We just want people to be involved, and, you know, we've set up a website, jesbt.com, and Jamal Edwards Self-Belief across the socials. If anybody wants to get involved, volunteer, be part of the self-belief community and build the vision for a better and brighter future.
Yeah.
I think I and millions of people are going to go into the world a little bit happier, more empowered, thinking what's possible instead of what isn't today.
Absolutely.
I'm possible.
I'm possible.
Not impossible, it's I'm possible.
Not impossible, it's I'm possible. However, in terms of the weather, let's see if Laura says a sunny day is impossible, or if she can make it.